Feels good to be in here this morning. It's been a while. It has been a while since we've been able to start a stream in this slightly delusional club, but yet here we are. Love this weather. Yeah, okay, just a quick little heads up. But right before I went live, I got a notification that I was under severe thunderstorm watch. So if the stream randomly cuts off, I have lost power. I don't expect that to happen, but it has happened in the past. They nearly shit their pants, but they pulled it off, and that's what matters. That's true. I honestly did not realize there was supposed to be a severe thunderstorm. Best 7-7 team ever. If not now, then when? Bubba with the 17 months of happiness, sadness, and delusion. Thank you so much, Bubba. The membership program will be launching shortly. I know I said this week. It takes a little bit more effort than I thought. And I'm supposed to have a call with the Patreon team. I don't know what the fuck's going on. But so far, what I'm thinking, what a membership could give you in the future. Access to our playback VODs. I am thinking about ways that we could maybe get unblocked slightly shirts given out. Now, I mean, look, shirts aren't that cheap to make, but they're not that expensive, but they're not that cheap to make. So that would probably be a little bit on the, there's going to be tiers of the memberships. That'll probably be the highest one. This rain's kind of crazy. I think it's about to hit me. So if I lose power, just know. Can the membership program grant immortality? We're working on that. Again, I got a call with the Patreon team. We're thinking about it. We're talking to some of the top scientists in the area. Talking to some of the top scientists. All right. Let's play some music for this. There we go. If not now, then when? Who won Sunday Night Football last night? Chargers. I didn't watch any NFL. Which of these MLB teams has never won a World Series? Mariners. Oh, come on, that one's easy. Why'd you have to do the Mariners like that? Come on, how many games did the 2024 World Series go? 5. All right, we're up to 4. This MLB team hasn't won a World Series in exactly 76 years. Not the Cubs, not the White Sox. Guardians. I think it's the Guardians. Yes! Come on! The highest individual point total in a game this season is 60. Who dropped it? That was Swiper, Darren Fox. Come on, man. Who led the WNBA in points per game last season? That was Asia, wasn't it? Okay, come on. Come on. I think this is the furthest we've gotten. This role player three-peated to begin his NBA career. Wasn't it Patrick McCaw? Oh, man. It was either Patrick McCaw. Yes! All right, here we go. Here we go. Miami's football first loss of the season came against NC State or Georgia Tech? NC State. No! Fuck you, Bleacher. How dare you put a college football question in there? How dare you? Honest to God. How dare you? They lost to Tech in Ireland. The first game of the season? How much of Shohei Ohtani's $70 million a year salary is deferred annually? Isn't it $68 million? Isn't he making $2 million? Last one. Who's the youngest NBA player to score 50 points in a game? Is it Victor Wembanyama? I don't think it's Vic. It might. Brandon Jennings being here makes me think it might be him. Wow, we would have got 100. I knew Brandon Jennings was one of the. That's actually crazy. He's the youngest. That's sickening. Really. Squiggly with the $5. How would the ultimate Lucas Stan respond to last night, and what would the ultimate hater say? I'm happy you asked that, actually, because I will get to that later. It's something that you guys know I have not wanted to be about at all this season. These constant fucking stand wars that happen, not just in the Mavs fan base, but in every NBA fan base, and just how annoying they are. But I'm going to get to that in a bit. What in the name of God is this? The Astros announced that Minute Maid Park will change its name to Dakin Park. Dakin? That's awful. Minute Maid was like one of the cooler park names. I'm so sick about this, dude. Yeah, MLB is having an interesting. Two teams are going to be playing in minor league stadiums next season. Interesting to say the least. All right, let's kick it off. Yep. The Oakland, or I guess the Athletics, I don't even think they have a team name. The Athletics are moving, but their stadium in Vegas isn't built yet or whatever. So they're currently playing in Sacramento. And then the Tampa Bay Rays, their stadium got fucked in the hurricane. It kind of makes you appreciate how huge these stadiums are, and just like the engineering marvel most of them are, that like that hurricane happens months before the season starts, and they're just like, yeah, we're not gonna be able to fix the roof. Like there's so much that goes into building this that like we're not gonna be able to, it's not gonna be fixed in time. Yeah, that is true, Clay. It is the exact two teams you'd expect to be playing in minor league stadiums. That's very true. They estimated it cost $55 million to fix. Yeah, that's true. I mean, they already are looking for a new stadium, so that's probably it, huh? The Trop is just probably done. It's kind of sad. Okay, folks, it is Monday, November 18th. My God, we're already halfway through November. What in the world happened? 9:48 a.m. Central Standard Time. We had a busy weekend of NBA basketball. A lot to talk about, a lot to go over today. We were going to look at some of the games this weekend, but mainly, I wanted to check in on all 30 teams, doing a little bit of a vibe check. This isn't like a power rankings or anything like that. It's more so just compared to where you were to start the season, your expectations to start the season versus how you have looked. What are the vibes? Are the vibes good? Are they fucked? Do you feel good about this team? Do you feel terrible? So on and so forth. So that's what we're going to do today. I want to start really quickly by going over some stuff that happened across the NBA this past weekend. Julius Randle, a couple game winners that had controversy attached to them. You had a Jason Tatum game winner. What was that? Saturday night against the Toronto Raptors. I think that was Saturday night. Jason Tatum game-winning 3 at the buzzer. Some controversy there. They released that the Tatum 3 was a travel. You watch the replay. It is pretty hilarious how much those feet are moving. And what's crazy is people say all the time, "Oh, that's the refs never call travels anymore." I think people do not fully understand what a travel is, and that is why they get upset about this. But also, they do call travels, and what's funny is the Tatum one is the type of travel they typically call when you move your feet before you go to dribble. That's typically one of the ones that they will give. This is one of the ones that they will call. But not this time. And to be fair, though, there was a couple of missed calls at the end of this game. They put on the 2-minute report that went against the Celtics. So I think in the end, it all kind of evened out. Like they said this should have been a foul right here on Jaylen Brown, and obviously it should have been. But and I think that would have put the Celtics at the free throw line, I want to say. That's kind of a crazy shot. Brown was flopping. No, he got full-fledged shoved. And they said in the 2-minute report that should have been a foul. So you had that game winner. You had the Minnesota Timberwolves, almost a disastrous loss yesterday against a depleted Phoenix Suns team that's really kind of been struggling with a lot of different injuries. If they lose that game, my God, I don't know what Timberwolves fans would have been about today. But Julius Randle, was there a shove on this play? I will say right away that maybe yes. And there was quite a few offensive foul calls in this game that I'm sure Suns fans are upset when against them. They didn't call this. I've said this before. I don't want calls like this at the end of games being made. Josh Aogi, play some fucking defense. Play some defense. Why are you flopping in a moment like that? I know he got shoved. I get it. He got shoved out of position. Absolutely. But stop flopping. How are you flopping right there? And Julius Randle hit the shot and then mocked Devin Booker, who was looking for a foul. Huge shot, though, for Julius Randle. The Julius Randle experience, it is a Julius Randle experiencing right now in Minnesota. They love him. They hate him. They despise him. Randle traveled worse than Tatum. Where? I don't see a travel. Oh, yeah, maybe a shuffle right there. Kogi's the worst kind of player because he does nothing good to counteract the annoying of his flopping. He can't shoot, can't drive, can't do anything except flop. Josh Okogie is one of those role players where you just find yourself thinking, like, why do I dislike this role player so much? Like, he's just a role player. Yeah, why do I find myself really disliking him? Now, I guess in Okogie's defense, he's probably thinking, I need to flop here to sell this call. Like, I'm already pushed out of position. My contest isn't going to be the best. So I got to get a foul call here. There was also a controversial ending in the Hornets-Bucks game a couple of nights ago. The Bucks, the Bucks are 4-9 and a bad loss against the Hornets. Some interesting endings and some interesting games over the weekend. Again, we're going to talk in further detail about these teams in a bit. But Darren Fox, who what is the record here? I wasn't like fully on Twitter much this weekend. What's the record? There has to be a record. 60 points on Friday night in an overtime loss to the Timberwolves for Darren Fox. And then he turns around the next day. The Kings have a back-to-back. The next day, Darren Fox drops 49. So 109 points in a 2-game stretch. That's absolutely insane. Most points in 2 games. Well, I'm assuming not, since there have been guys who have dropped like 100 points before, supposedly. But that is, I mean, it's got to be up there. That's crazy for a back-to-back. In a span of 24 hours, you score 109 points. The ending isn't really that bad on the Suns-Wolves game. It's the rest of the game where the refs called this same play versus Suns multiple times. Yeah, that's where I was getting at. The Suns fans are upset because there were some calls earlier in the game that, if that play happened probably in the third quarter, they're calling that, or at least they called that against the Suns. So I get the frustration there. It wasn't the best of weekends for NBA officials. And we'll get to that here in a bit. I do want to I was wondering if I want to dive into detail about this Mavs game, but I think I'm going to make a video about it later, so I'm not sure. Yeah, Cavaliers are now 15-0. 15-0. They got a game on Tuesday night against the Celtics. That is going to be must-see TV, folks. Must-see TV. But over the weekend, the Mavericks, they did kind of figure some stuff out, maybe. After being 5-7 and just feeling the absolute worst after an embarrassing loss to the Utah Jazz on Thursday night. They beat the Spurs on Saturday, and then a very impressive win in Oklahoma City against the Thunder. Now, granted, the Thunder are dealing with, a ton of different injuries, obviously, to their front court. I just think naturally the Mavericks are going to have a huge, huge size advantage against a team like this currently, and they did. But, no Chet, obviously, for the foreseeable future for the Thunder. No Isaiah Hartenstein. He'll be back somewhat soonish, I would have to imagine. No Jay Will. So they're very, very small. The Mavericks were without Luka Doncic. So the Mavericks pull out a win in OKC. They win by 2 points. It got very uncomfortable there. I want to say that the score wasn't as close because the Mavericks were up by 10 points with a minute 13 left. And then just everything that could go wrong did go wrong. But it's hard to say that when Lou Dort did attempt a shot at the end to win the game. So I can't fully say that this game wasn't really as close as the final score may have indicated. Because again, the Thunder found themselves in a position. Now, granted, it was a prayer. It was a prayer Mickey Mouse 3-point attempt by Lou Dort. If that had gone in, I would have probably never watched basketball again. But he did put it up. He did attempt it. And had it gone down, it would have won the game. A really impressive win for the Mavericks. They had a great game plan entering this game. They utilized their very, very big size advantage that they did have. P.J. Washington had 27 points, 7 of 13 from the field, 10 of 10 from the free throw line, 17 rebounds, 6 of those offensive rebounds. The Mavs as a team had 18 offensive rebounds. This is going to be a problem for this Thunder team. Going to be a problem for this Thunder team as they like wait for their size to get back. These bigger teams are going to take advantage of them. Gafford had 8 offensive rebounds as well. So you had 2 guys combined to have 14 offensive rebounds. They're like 2 guys combined doubled up your entire team total for offensive rebounds. PJ versus the Thunder or Miles Turner versus the Mavs. I think PJ versus the Thunder is probably the biggest one. Miles Turner at least is like, he makes a lot of money. He's made a lot of money in the NBA. Like, Miles Turner's been a good NBA player. And that's not to say P.J. Washington hasn't been a good NBA player. Obviously, he has. But P.J. just turns into, like, this fucking beast. Turns into this monster. I think the Mavs had more offensive rebounds than the Thunder had defensive rebounds. Close. They out-rebounded the Thunder by, my God, let's do some quick math here. 25. And by 25, I mean 24. 24 more rebounds as a team. Absolutely insane. I think Grimes and Hardy are looking more comfortable. Yeah, Hardy looked really good last night. This was one of Jaden Hardy's more impressive performances he's had this season at least. 10 off the bench, 3 of 7 from the field. But it was getting downhill. It was attacking. I'm sorry, I read the wrong stat line. 13 points, 6 of 9 from the field. It was getting downhill. It was attacking the rim. And that's exactly what the Mavs needed. Not just out of him, but out of their guards last night. Be aggressive, get to the rim, finish at the rim. They don't have size. You know, this Thunder team didn't have the size to contest. So get downhill and get to the rim. You know, PJ was great. Obviously, we talked about him. Kyrie, I thought, had a really good game as well. 23 points, 9 of 18, 6 assists. Not the greatest stat line. Like, without Luka in a game like this, you would think that in order to win, the Mavs would have to rely on Kyrie Irving heavily. But the Thunder take it away. This is a tough matchup for Kyrie. You know, they send a ton of help. They send a ton of double teams. And Kyrie's not like Luka, where Luka, you know, when he's really going, Luka's like, I don't give a fuck if you're double teaming me. I'm going to get to my spot. I'm going to score, and then I'm going to, you know, have 15 assists tonight. Kyrie's more of a, hey, I'm attracting the attention of the defense. Like, you guys kind of do your thing. And that's what Kyrie did. And then he had a couple of scoring flurries that really, really helped out the Mavericks when they desperately needed some scoring. Clay was 1 of 11. I mean, he's up and down, man. It was a rough one last night. A lot of open looks that he didn't convert. You know, you're going to have to live with games like these from Klay Thompson. Only 25 minutes. So that's the thing. The Mavericks can live with games like these. Like that's what I've been saying about Klay is it's like the Mavericks don't need him to be prime Klay. That's not who the Mavericks need him to be. They need him to hit open threes, and they're able and built to survive if Klay doesn't pop off. Like the Warriors team really wasn't last year. That's where a lot of problems, you know, popped up. But this Mavericks team can survive a rough Klay Thompson outing. But the final minute and a half of this game, holy Moses. I mean, the Mavericks just poop-eated and pee-peed all over their pants. Just insane. How many turnovers? 4 turnovers in their last 5 possessions. The one thing, you're up 10. You know this Thunder team's going to ramp up the intensity defensively. They already generate so many turnovers, but you know they're really going to go for it. The Mavericks said, all right, the only way we can lose this game is by turning the ball over a bunch. Well, here we go. Hey, guys, buckle the fuck up. The worst was Najee throwing it to Lively. Yeah, a couple of them were Jaden Hardy, who, you know, not really out there in these big moments and stuff like that. Loose with his dribble, J-Dub steals it. The Najee pass to Derek Lively was just one of the more insane things I've seen. The Kyrie Irving turnover at the end. Did he get fouled? Absolutely, he got fouled. But the Kyrie Irving turnover there at the end, kind of uncharacteristic. Like, he breaks the press, gets up court. Kyrie's usually such a smart player, but yet he dribbles it to the baseline, basically, and then picks up his dribble in, like, one of the worst spots imaginable. Tim Jenkins guitar with the 2. Should Najee or Grimes start over Klay? No, I think you ride it out with Klay for the time being. Najee, I really like Najee coming off the bench and being a ball handler off the bench. Like, I think that's why you go out and get a guy like that. And that's how you maximize what Najee Marshall brings to the table. You know, Kyrie is the worst whistle in the league, bro. Yeah, Kyrie's whistle's notoriously terrible. I will agree with that. Absolutely. And Najee PJ give you some real big spacing problems. And I think even Grimes does, because I don't know how much teams respect Grimes from 3. Where Klay does give you a ton of spacing. Gives you a ton of spacing. So anyways, a really impressive win for this Mavericks team. The Thunder, Shea was incredible in this game, 36 points. Anytime he got to his spot, I felt like he was making it. I will say, you know, the PJ Washington did a great job against him. Iztok had a stat like this. Let me go find it. Where the Second Spectrum, if any of you guys have access to Second Spectrum or know how to get access to Second Spectrum sports, you know, these super in-depth stats, please reach out to me. I want them. But this is from Iztok. According to Second Spectrum tracking data, in 25 half-court matchups where PJ was the primary defender on SGA, the Thunder superstar scored just 2 points. In 25 half-court matchups, 2 points. In 54 matchups against other Mavericks defenders, SGA scored 33 points. So there you have it. PJ Washington was one of the few guys who was actually able to, you know, stop Shai Gilgeous-Alexander a little bit. The Mavericks also switched up their defensive coverage on him in the second half of the game. But it was a great game from Shai. J-Dub made some things happen as well, 27 points. Did Mark Daigneault really have to educate the refs at the end of the game? Yes, he pretty much had to tell the refs the rules about advancing the ball out of a timeout. The end of this game was such a complete and total shit show. But the Mavericks get a huge W. But this does segue me into a problem that I've been having with the NBA and a problem that happened in this game. The final 2 minutes, this according to Worldwide Wobe, Rob Perez, the final 2 minutes of the Mavs and Thunder game took 20 minutes and 26 seconds of real time. Now, this came just a day after the final 2 minutes of the Kings and Jazz game took 20 minutes and 39 seconds of real time to complete. This is one of the biggest problems plaguing the NBA currently. We talked about ratings. How can the league fix ratings and stuff like this? The final, and this is, everybody knows this. Everybody knows the last 2 minutes of a basketball game is probably going to be shitty. Like, just truthfully, if the teams are good or if the game is close, right, you can sort of expect the last 2 minutes to take 10 plus minutes of real time to figure themselves out. Like, if we were just to percentage-wise break down the amount of real time spent actually watching the game in the final 2 minutes, it's probably 80% stoppages. 80% stoppages, 20% game time. Whether that's timeouts, whether that's reviews, whatever the case may be. And I've said this, and I will continue to say this, the review system needs to be fixed. There's no reason it takes this fucking long. No reason at all. Okay? So, this Mavs Thunder game, they spend 4 to 5 minutes reviewing this play, the Thunder challenge. Najee Marshall's bringing the ball up. He slips and falls in the backcourt. They call a foul. Slips and falls. Najee keeps his dribble alive, so he gets up and keeps running, but they call a foul. Daigneault takes the timeout. And challenges it, right? Now, they win the challenge. It takes them 4 minutes to fucking review this play that you take one look at, one replay review, and you see exactly what happened, that there was no foul, Najee slipped, but he kept his dribble alive. It should have taken 20 seconds to review that play. 20. Right? Instead, it takes minutes. And on top of that, the end result of the play, I mean, it did matter because Najee would have gone to the free throw line had they called that versus him keeping his dribble alive. That led to the Thunder actually getting a turnover. So it worked out for the Thunder. But the fact that it took that long to come to that conclusion was ridiculous. And then it took them, 2 minutes to explain the play to the fucking crowd. And then the Mavericks take a timeout because they want to advance the ball. Well, then Daigneault says, wait, they can't advance the ball. And then the refs spend 5 minutes talking about whether or not they should advance the ball. There should be somebody in their ear at any given moment telling them, hey, we just watched the replay. No foul. Let's go. Successful challenge. Let's go. Then, hey, we just checked the rule book. They don't advance the ball. Boom. That quick. How is this still not a thing? I don't get it. How is it 2024 and we're still stuck in these 5 fucking minute reviews? It shouldn't take that long. If a review takes 5 minutes, there's no conclusive evidence. Let's go. You have a 60-second timer. If within those 60 seconds we do not find enough evidence, boom. We're not changing the call. It's taking us 60 seconds to look at these replay reviews from 85 different angles at 0.1 speed to try and find something. It's not conclusive. Move the fuck on. We want to watch the game be played. Okay, I've had such a problem with officiating. I've had such a problem with the reviews so far this season. It's so annoying. And then as a fan, I'm like, What is the point of this review system? What is the point of sitting here for 5 to 6 minutes watching these replay reviews, and you want to get every single call right? Even then, they spent 12 minutes looking at a play earlier in the game where Shea drives, the Mavericks, Najee Marshall gets called for a foul, the Mavericks challenge it, they go to replay, and man, either Shea Gilgeous-Alexander has the strongest eyeballs in the history of mankind, or he just straight up doesn't get hit in the face like they called. And they still say that it was an unsuccessful challenge. So you think to yourself, okay, well, even if you do challenge the call, the call is not going to be right anyways. And then it makes it more frustrating as we have these 20-minute reviews. Then one of the most consequential plays of the game, Kyrie Irving gets stripped, or Shea Gilgeous-Alexander forces a jump ball on Kyrie Irving with 7 seconds left, down 3. They show replay, and my God, Lou Dort is just hacking Kyrie to fucking oblivion. I mean, just hacking the shit out of him. Like, it's just a clear and obvious foul. Even Shea comes when he forces the jump ball, grabs Kyrie's arm first. Like, it's like 12 different fouls on the play. If you don't want to call that, okay, fine. But it's frustrating because it's like we spend 20 minutes on all these other calls. And then one of the most consequential plays of the game, we actually don't spend any time, and we fuck the call up. Like, we got to fix this, Silver. Like, my good friend Vengeance Wood made a great point. I tweeted about this last night. That nobody wants to see this. No fan wants to see this, right? We don't tune into the final 2 minutes of a close game to sit there and watch refs stare at a replay monitor. And he made a great point, which is you look at every other sport, the last inning or two of a close baseball game, it's exciting. You know, it's every pitch. You're hanging on to every pitch, right? The last 5 minutes of a close NFL game, exciting. Every play is like, oh, fuck, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Oh, this is going to what's the last couple minutes of a close hockey game? Incredibly exciting. The last couple minutes of an NBA game, a close NBA game, suck. And that should not be the case. The NBA should be the most exciting game, the most exciting last couple of minutes in sports, because you have the best in the world going at it, incredibly skilled, tough shot after tough shot. Instead, we just stare at replay monitors for the entire time. Pathetic. Need to figure out a way to fix it, Silver, because it's awful. It's awful. I really don't understand it. Please fix it. I don't like fouling up three. I want to see a last second shot. And I agree, but as long as it's in the game, do it. It's just crazy, man. How do you have two games in the span of 2 nights? The last 2 minutes of the game took 20 minutes of real time. That's horrible. What if you got rid of intentional fouling? Well, you can't really get rid of intentional fouling because it does open up the possibility for like crazy end of game sequences. Here's where the Elam ending would come into play, where it's like, all right, give us a target score and let's go. No free throws, none of that. OKC swarming defense is amazing, but they always get away with too many fouls. Yeah, but they give up a ton of free throws though. I would be like, what the fuck's going on in OKC if the free throw margins weren't as crazy as they are, but they're giving up a ton of free throws since their big guys have been out. So sick of watching Lou Dort. He's not a good defender, and he's fouling and getting away with it. No, I mean, he's a good defender, but he does play tackle football a lot out there. That much is absolutely true. Okay. So with 3 nights of games behind us since the last time I spoke with you all, I felt like it was cool to go ahead and do a tier list here where we're looking at all 30 NBA teams. We're putting them into 3 different categories based off of their vibes. The 3 categories we're going with: slightly delusional. These are peak vibes, right? And this isn't a power rankings. So I'm just going to spoil it here. I'm probably going to put like the Portland Trailblazers in the slightly delusional category just because I think things are going really well for them. And you probably feel really good about where you're at if you are a Trailblazers fan. You have slightly fine. Things are about what you would expect heading into the season. Could be better, could be worse. Then you have the slightly fucked here where the vibes just haven't been great for one reason or another. All right, we're going to talk about all 30 of these teams. Some are going to be more obvious than others, but that's right. Some of these are going to be a little bit more obvious than others. But here we go. Let's start with the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks have had an interesting start to the season, right? They don't have their pick, so they were never going to be tanking or anything like that. But they were never going to be competitive. They were one of the weirdest teams to talk about entering the season. Trae Young has kind of been up and down. I think he's had a good solid start to the season. The turnover problems have been big for this team and for Trae Young. But he is averaging 23 points and 11.5 assists a game, right? Jalen Johnson has had some huge flashes. Dyson Daniels has been a revelation. I mean, he's been incredible. The Atlanta Hawk Tuas. Yeah, good work. Good job. I think they belong in the slightly fine tier. I don't. If Ricochet was going crazy and was running away with the rookie of the year so far, I think I'd put them in the slightly delusional. But Dyson Daniels has been so fucking good that's a huge bright spot. Jalen Johnson's had a few, flashes and moments of greatness. All East teams should be in the slightly fucked. The fuck are those standings? Yeah, the Eastern Conference as a whole, the vibes are terrible. But if you're the Atlanta Hawks, I don't know. This is about what you could expect. They look like they're probably going to end up being a play-in team or kind of right around there. God, the East is so bad. It's actually unbelievable. Talk about picks. Us having Toronto's second-round pick unprotected is underrated. They bottoming out hard for Cooper Flagg. Us being the Mavericks have Toronto's second-round pick? I don't even know. The second-round picks, I have no clue who has them. I have no idea who has second-round picks in the NBA. The Boston Celtics. They find themselves at 11-3, which is the same start they had to the season last year. They were 11-3 last year. You should add a middle tier in between delusional and fucked. There is a middle tier in between delusional and fucked. Would you rather have Trae Young or Fred VanVleet? On the Mavericks? It's kind of gross to think about that question, but I could see some teams talk themselves into Fred VanVleet. Absolutely. Even though Trae Young is definitely a better player. I think the Celtics are in the slightly fine tier as well, to be honest with you. About what we expected. Again, 11-3 through 14 games. Yeah, I thought about adding a fourth tier, but what's the point? We're just going to have three tiers. Celtics are 11-3 through 14 games. That's the same 14-game start they had a season ago. They defensively haven't looked as elite, as great as maybe we would have liked to have seen from them to start the season, but they are missing some key pieces. Their offense does look really good. Jason Tatum's looked really good. And they're just kind of waiting for some guys to come back. I do think that this is a team that's going to win 60 games. So, and they're on pace for that. So they're going to be all right. But this is just about what we could have expected. Paul with the 5. Word is the Rockets are looking to sell their roster to Bucks for Giannis. Yeah, there's just been so much smoke about the Rockets wanting to be uber aggressive in trades for guys like Giannis and KD. I'm not sure how I feel about it. Like, what if they make the second round this year with their young guys? Do you blow up your roster in an attempt to make a win now trade for an older aging superstar, or do you just kind of run it back and let your young core keep growing next to each other? I don't know. That's an interesting one. The Brooklyn Nets. Slightly, what do you think about? I think about a lot of things. I think the Brooklyn Nets actually kind of belong in the slightly delusional tier. Only because, we got a Shams. It's my turn now. Breaking news. Sources tell Slightly Biased News Network. The 76ers' Joel Embiid illness is listed as doubtful for tonight's game versus the Heat in Miami. Slightly, what are your thoughts on? Yeah, it's tough. It's very controversial. So I would rather not share. I'd rather not share my thoughts on. Just being honest. It's just controversial, and I don't want to bring it to the table here. Embiid out, that's what you consider news? I think the Brooklyn Nets belong in the slightly delusional tier, though. Jordy Fernandez has looked great. They play a really fun brand of basketball. They're much more competitive than anybody could have expected. Now, they have lost 3 straight games, and they are 5-9, right? But do they belong in the slightly delusional tier? I didn't realize that they're losers of 3 straight. We might go in the fine. No, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm putting in the slightly delusional. They've looked good. Cam Thomas looks like he could be an all-star. That's really, if you were to poll Nets fans entering the season, I guarantee you the only thing they wanted to see was Cam Thomas play at a borderline all-star level. I really think that's it. I don't think they wanted to see anything else. Maybe Noah Clowney does a couple of things. You know, he hasn't looked great to start the season, but that's really it. And so far you've gotten that, and then some. Your team looks really competitive. It looks like you have a good head coach. Like there's reason to feel really good. You look like a good tanking team. You're losing games. Cam Johnson looks to have some real trade value. Dorian Finney-Smith's been playing well lately, up his trade value. Dennis Schroeder's been playing great, up that trade value. Like all of the things you wanted to see happen have happened. So I'm putting them in the slight delusional tier. The Bulls, the Chicago Bulls, 5-9, losers of 2 straight. Where the fuck do we go with the Bulls, man? I have no clue. Where would you guys put the Bulls? Because Giddey, I defended this trade, but Giddey's looked horrible at times. They do play a somewhat fun brand of basketball from time to time where they bomb threes, but they've given up. They have to be the worst defense in the NBA, right? I don't know if the stats say that, but I think they've given up 140 points 2 games in a row. Fucked. Giddey has been horrible. Yeah, he has. I'm eating crow, I think, on my take on that trade. Team is horrible. But we kind of knew they'd be horrible. All right, we'll go slightly fucked. But I will say this, though. Vucevic has played well enough where maybe there is a trade there. Which once looked like an untradeable asset. Maybe there is a trade. It might be there. You should have a bad but fun tier. But that's like what the delusional team is. Vooch hasn't been amazing. He's the worst defender in his position, and it's not close. No, Vooch hasn't been amazing, but he's been playing well enough offensively that there's probably a team out there that could talk themselves into it. Zach LaVine's been playing well enough that there's probably a team out there that could talk themselves into it, and that's really kind of what you wanted to see. Saric, Najee, and DJ for Vucevic. Saric, Najee, and does that work financially? Dude, Vucevic on the Nuggets? That's weird to me. What team really wants to start Vooch is a real question. A desperate team. Maybe not even start. Come off the bench like they said the Nuggets. The Clippers. The Clippers. 7-7. I think they're fine. I think the Clippers feel fine. All of the things that personally I kind of expected to see from the Clippers, we have seen. Like Harden looks good. The Harden-Zubats 2-man game is incredible. Zubats had an amazing start to the season. Their defense is really, really strong. Really, really strong defensive team. Their offense struggles at times. And they're a tough team to play. And they're probably a team that's going to be hanging in the play-in picture or probably on the outside looking into the play-in picture. But Norm Powell's been awesome as well. But they're pretty much exactly how I expected them to see. They're playing ball with no Kawhi. Yeah, but I mean, that's just pretty much an evergreen statement for this Clippers team. Like, no Kawhi. There's nothing surprising about that, really. D'Lo, Jalen Hood-Schifino, and a first for Vucevic. I mean, if I'm the Bulls and I get offered that, I'm saying yes in a heartbeat. I could maybe pawn D'Lo somewhere else. Jalen Hood-Schifino is a nothing player to me, but a first-round pick for Vooch? The Charlotte Hornets. Well, you know I love me some Charlotte Hornets. They are 5-8. Where do we go with them? They're interesting to me. LaMelo's looked incredible. Like, you got one of those guys in LaMelo Ball. You do. You have to just hope that he stays healthy. What's concerning, though, is Brandon Miller really has not looked good to start this season. And that's kind of concerning to me. If I'm a Hornets fan, I would sacrifice a couple of wins that we've had if it meant Brandon Miller looks way better. You do realize I grew up in rough streets of Slovenia? Gaff for like Clarks or Vooch or Ingram if the Pels are desperate? I doubt that. But Brandon Miller's at 15 points per game, 48% true shooting. Just hasn't looked great. Has been dealing with a hip injury. But it hasn't been great for Brandon Miller. He was 6 of 20 last night against Cleveland. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to do with them, actually. Mark Williams, is he ever going to play basketball again? Is he ever going to play basketball again? Another day in his life. I kind of feel like they're fine as well. Like I expected them to be pretty solid. And a team that could definitely make the play-in tournament. They're 5-8 right now. They're the 9th seed. LaMelo's been incredible. They're close. Like, they're competitive in a lot of games against teams that they probably shouldn't be competitive against. They're fun to watch. We kind of knew that. Mark is good, though. He's strong and big. Yeah, Mark Williams is fucking awesome. He just doesn't play. Like, they've got wins against the Bucks, wins against the Pacers. Trey Mann kind of disappointing for them. He looked nice in preseason. Bro, on opening night against the Rockets, he went crazy, and I was like, oh, my God, Trey Mann really might win 6th Man of the Year. Yes, 5-8 is 9th in the Eastern Conference. I'll even take it a step further. 6-8 is 7th. 6-7 is 6th. Just got here. What is this ranking for? These are vibes. We're vibe checking. The Cavs, well, I mean, can't feel any better about 15-0. If the All-Star game were to happen today, the Cavs would have 4 All-Stars. They would have an All-Star backcourt and an All-Star frontcourt. DG, the PG, is back. I mean, that much is 1,000% certain. Darius Garland has been incredible to start the season. Donovan Mitchell. So Darius Garland's at 21.5 points per game, 7 assists. Uber efficient from the floor. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I was toying with this idea before the season started of throwing Donovan Mitchell into my top 10. I just never could get there. But anytime I watch him play, I leave it feeling like he's a top 10 player in the game. I think he has those like high flashes where I'm like, fuck, man, Donovan Mitchell is so good. I do think he has like lower floor games than other guys that you would put in the top 10. A little off topic, but I would love a fantasy league for all members. Maybe we can give fun prizes like a side buy shirt for winner would be a fun way to cover all NBA teams as well. What do you mean, like fantasy basketball? I thought about it. It's hard to do something like that, like a community one. Donovan is so good and entering his prime. And yeah, I mean, Donovan Mitchell is such a fun player to watch. And then you have Evan Mobley, who looks like he's maybe taking the leap forward that we've all sort of talked about endlessly. And Jared Allen's just been Jared Allen. Like a really, really good starting center. And they've been incredible. Kenny Atkinson's got them boys playing some basketball. Donovan could easily average 35 points per game if he wanted to. I don't know about that, but could probably get to 30 maybe. The Denver Nuggets. Where do we put the Denver Nuggets? What a weird up and down season so far for them. They're 7-5 now. They've lost 2 straight games. Jokic is out due to, this is what I saw, the birth of a child. Congratulations to Nikola Jokic. But 7-5. Lost 2 in a row without Jokic. They lost their first 2 games of the season, then rattled off, what was it, like a 6-game winning streak? I will say this. Jokic looks phenomenal. Like, I don't think, it's been a long time. And Nuggets fans have been saying this, but I didn't think that this was necessarily true last year. Nuggets fans have been saying that there hasn't been a gap this big between the best player in the league and the second best player since LeBron. I did not think that last year. I really did think Luka was the best player in the league last year, to be 1,000% honest with you. But Jokic looks so far and away like the best player in the league right now that it is the most separation between the best player and the second best player in quite some time. But Jamal Murray's looked like ass. And he looks actually washed. Like, I don't really know. Like, what are we waiting to see from Jamal Murray at this point? Because it's getting very alarming. What we were already kind of ringing the alarm bells, but Jamal Murray just doesn't. What does he do? What does he do? What is Jamal like? What currently in his current form, in his current state? What is Jamal Murray like really good at? He doesn't really beat guys off the dribble anymore. He relies heavily on tough shots, and those are going in less and less and less. His defense has been awful, and he's not like really a great playmaker. And if they want to win a championship, he has to be good. That's not like Jokic can't just carry this team all the way to a championship again by himself. That can't happen. So I don't know where to put them. I guess I would go with the fine, but there's some scary stuff. The Rockets, I mean, they feel great. They feel really, really good. I think this was one of my best preseason takes, was that the Rockets, I thought, were going to be a really good basketball team this year. They are 10-4 currently. They are one game out of the 1 seed. But my goodness, they are a good basketball team. They play some very good defense. They are currently, they're 11th on offense. I was about to say, they currently check those boxes. You want to be top 10 in offense and defense? They are 11th in offense. They suck then. All right, put them in the fuck tier. Just a quick little check on this number, by the way. You want to be top 10 in both offense and defense. The Oklahoma City Thunder are 9 on offense, number 1 on defense. So they check that box. Golden State, 6 on offense, 4th on defense. They check that box. Memphis, Cleveland, and gosh darn it, the Dallas Mavericks check that box. But anyways, the Rockets look incredible. And honestly, there is, like, they have so many young pieces. I mean, the Amin Thompson, Tari Eason, back, the duo off the bench. What have they been calling them? But defensively, they're just a nightmare. Şengün's been playing good defense so far this season. Jalen Green hasn't even been great. The Terror Twins. That's right. I knew it was Terror something. The Terror Twins. If you would have told me going into the season, hey, we're 14 games in, the Rockets are 10-4, and they look like a really serious team, I would say, so Jalen Green is making that leap. We're finally seeing the Jalen Green consistent leap forward. No, we're not seeing that. This is the Jalen Green that he's been his whole entire career. But the pieces around him are just so good. Yeah, Jabari Smith hasn't even really been good. Jabari Smith is the obvious trade guy, but it kind of sucks. I don't even know what Jabari Smith's trade value would be. You know, and he seems like a prime candidate for, he goes to a team where he fits in much better and looks really good. They'd be selling really low, absolutely. But he is kind of the obvious, if we make a big trade to improve our roster, Jabari Smith Jr. is the guy who's in it. But anyways, the Rockets have been incredible to start the season. And I figured, like, they made a huge, 20-win improvement last season. And why? Like, I was like, why would they stop? Vegas had him as the same win total. I was like, why the fuck would that happen? Assuming they're healthy. Like, why would they not just get better? Again. I could see them being a top 5 seed by the end of the season. Absolutely. The Lakers, they're 9-4. They've won 5 straight. I mean, they're Lakers fans, so I think they always are up here in the slightly delusional category. But the vibes feel pretty good. I mean, JJ Redick's look good as a coach. LeBron is just still. LeBron was 4 straight triple doubles. 4 straight triple doubles. I mean, what the hell? I will say, I hate the LeBron becomes the oldest player ever to have 4 straight triple doubles. And I was like, didn't you guys send me a notification that he was the oldest player ever to have a triple double? Like we don't need the constant update. Like, I already know that he's the oldest player to do that. Oh, he's the oldest player to have 2 straight triple doubles. Oh, he's the oldest player ever to have 3. Like, we already know. That would be like after every Steph Curry 3. Just being like, Steph Curry has broken the record for most 3s. That would be a funny bit, actually, if somebody did that on Twitter. Steph Curry has now broken the record. The youngest stats are different. Oldest, it's like, yeah. What is it? What's going to happen? The Milwaukee Bucks. Anthony Davis has been playing at an MVP level. LeBron's been awesome. They definitely have some like concerns with their depth, but Milwaukee Bucks slightly fucked. No, I mean, do we need to get into this one? They are currently 4-9. They have been playing a little bit better lately, but a heartbreaking 1-point loss to the Hornets their last game doesn't feel great. Hard to feel like really good. Like, all right, we're finally figuring some stuff out. But their defense has been playing better lately. They're just not. They're not, you know. They don't feel like a special team at all. I thought going into the season that they would figure some stuff out and look really solid, but that has just really not been the case. Bravo to Doc, though, murdering a franchise entirely less than one calendar year. Yeah, really impressive. Really impressive how bad the vibes are here. And not only that, but to make the vibes absolutely worse. To make the vibes worse, you just wake up every morning to constant Giannis trade rumors and speculation. Like, it must be awful as a fan. All right, let's speed up this process. I didn't realize how long we were taking here. The Heat. Oh, man. What the fuck is going on with the Miami Heat? I feel like they're 5-7. Their vibes are fucked. Their vibes are terrible, in my opinion. Like, Jimmy Butler has not looked good whatsoever. Bam Adebayo's even struggled offensively. Terry Rozier looks terrible. Like, what even is this team? Squiggly with the $5. I feel so validated when they changed coaches last season. I said it was a mistake and literally got laughed at. No, I think everybody laughed at it being Doc Rivers. If Adrian Griffin lost the locker room, that's one thing to fire him and replace him. It being Doc Rivers was objectively hilarious. Yeah, terrible Terry, scary Terry. I've seen Heat fans say, what's scary about him? The only people who are scared are the fans of his own team. The fans sitting courtside when those bricks start flying. The Heat vibes are fucked. The Mavs vibes. Here's an interesting one. I'm going to put them in fucked for the time being with the arrow ticking upwards, but right now I'm putting them in fucked. And here's why. Here's why. The vibes are terrible. No, I'll put them in fine, actually. I'll put them in fine. Well, my idea... Okay, fine. I'll put them in fine. But here's why I was going to say this, though, is, my God, man, the fan base is just in a state that I've never seen. And I'm looking at it like that, and that's not what I wanted to, that's not how I wanted to view it. I am sort of, my judgment is clouded by being online with this fan base and seeing all of the shit I see. Here's a comment that was on Locked On that I took a screenshot of because I wanted to talk about it. Mavs fans are really great. Sarcasm. Everybody would like to bench or trade Luka right now. Hope he will leave this team because what is the point to play for a team if even your own fans don't want to see you on the court? Fans that are with you support you only when you play great. Sarcasm again. This one had 20 likes and people in the replies were like, "Fuck yeah." I've said this so many times, and I didn't want to get involved in any stand-up war this year, although I'm being dragged into it. But, dude, this idea that Mavs fans don't like Luka, like, come on, bro. What are you guys talking about? And I'm just going to say here, I mean, judging by this guy's name and the way that it's like this comment is, I'm assuming this person is European, so they don't know. And I've had to make this point multiple times. If you're not in Dallas or you're not in the country, Mavericks fans fucking adore Luka, man. They love him. They absolutely love him, man. I need you guys to understand this. Are there trolls on Twitter? Yes. Are there vocal people online who are like make jokes about Luka, who have Luka's face photoshopped onto Hitler's body as their profile picture? Yes, they do. Those people do exist. Those are trolls online. Okay? Those are trolls online who are being trolls. Who are also like, love Luka though. There's maybe a small tiny percentage who's like, man, trade Luka. And those are probably Kyrie fans. All right? But, dude, if you go to a Mavs game, probably the loudest moment in any game is whenever they introduce Luka Doncic in the starting lineups. Anytime Luka Doncic does anything, it is the loudest pop in the arena for any player. Anytime Luka does anything, Kyrie could do some crazy shit. The arena gets really loud, but mostly it's Luka. Stop lying. Us Kyrie fans love Luka. Yeah, most Kyrie fans love Luka as well. But I'm saying if you do see like tweets about trading Luka or Luka X, Y, and Z, a lot of the times it is Kyrie fans. Like if we're just being honest. And the back and forth, it's just so annoying, man. This Mavs fan base is way more than just the Dallas area. Yeah, but what I'm saying is people who don't live in the Dallas area and don't know how 98% of the fucking people here feel about Luka and how fans feel about Luka. Like they see some people online say some things and then they're like, "Oh, Mavs fans hate Luka." Like no fan base treats their player like this. They hate him. It's like, bro, I'm telling you right now, it's just so not true. They love him. We love Luka Doncic. You go play a pickup game anywhere in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, 40, 50% of people are wearing Lukas. Like, my Lord. Honestly, Luka and Kyrie as a pairing probably have the highest approval rating in Dallas sports currently. This is a city that loves their sports. This is a city that's very, very sports-oriented. Obviously, it is a football city. But they love Dallas sports. The city of Dallas will support all of their teams through and through. The Mavericks probably have the highest approval rating right now. Honestly, Luka and Kyrie probably have the highest approval rating of any player here, any athlete in the Dallas area. So it's just like, come on, guys, and understand that like people just have high expectations for him, which I know sometimes can be misconstrued one way or the other, but Paige is about to change that. Maybe. Saw someone on Twitter whose whole gimmick is to trade Luka. And, like, I don't give a fuck about these gimmicky Twitter accounts, man. All right, the New Orleans Pelicans, their vibes are fucked. Need I explain more? Need I explain more? There is something going on. A curse has been leveled. Opinions on slow hoops. All right, I said I wasn't going to talk about slow hoops this year because I really don't care at all. But he did tweet out a picture, a video of me yesterday that people kept tagging me in or sending to me. I think slow hoops is funny as fuck. I really do. I think that he is genuinely funny. Is like he's committed to the bit. Is the bit a little bit annoying sometimes? Sure. I don't find him funny. I think he's kind of objectively funny. Like there's definitely a level of trolling involved that is that I think is kind of funny at times. Now I don't follow him or anything like that. Like I don't see all of his tweets. Genuinely kind of definitely an elite troll, honestly. I feel like he's serious. I really don't think he's serious. The tweets that I've seen, he's rage baiting. People fall for it every time. Like people fall for it every single time. But he tweeted at the video of me. I just saw. I was like, damn, I look good. I look good in that suit. He's dead serious. I don't know how you can read some of his tweets and think he's dead serious. All right, the Knicks, I think they're fine as well. Definitely a little bit of a disappointing start to the season, but Aogi looks great. Cat looks great. He's European in his 50s. I don't know that for sure. OKC, I think, is it weird to say the Thunder, who are 11-3, are just fine currently? Are they delusional though? Like they're 11-3, and you're just destroyed by injuries. This is more the vibes. Like I'm not saying the fan base vibes. This is more like just the vibes of the team. All right. I'm gonna go with fine. They're similar to the Celtics for me. Like they're exactly what we expected them to be. There's some stuff that isn't going their way that we've sort of wanted to see. Their offense hasn't been nearly as good as maybe we thought. If he's just trolling, why is he blocking people who he disagree with? Is that I mean, he's definitely a Lucas stan. But there's a lot of trolling that goes on. I don't know. I feel like you guys, some of you guys take it too seriously, man. Like, it's just, at the end of the day, who fucking cares? The Orlando Magic. The Magic one is a little bit difficult. With no Paolo, they have actually strung together some wins. Their defense looks incredible. They are 7-0 at home. And Franz Wagner is actually making an all-star leap. And beyond that, they're the 3 seed. They are the 3 seed in the Eastern Conference currently. Are they fine? I think their vibes might even be higher than that, if I'm being honest with you. Like, if you're a Magic fan, you're like, man, Franz is taking that all-star leap. Our defense looks incredible. Paolo comes back. Like, I feel like their vibes are really good. What up, DQ? Not delusional? All right, we'll put them in fine. I mean, we're really racking up the fines here. I think the Blazers belong in the delusional tier. I think their vibes have been great. If I'm a Blazers fan, I'm feeling really good about what we've seen so far this season. And let me explain why. Klingon looks great. Shaden Sharp the last couple of games. Woo! Last couple of games, Shaden Sharp has looked phenomenal. Can I put them in the... They need to dump DeAndre Ayton, absolutely. They need to trade DeAndre Ayton. The majority of Eastern Conference could be delusional because they have a much better shot than they deserve. That is true. Kling Kong, please play for Italy. I guess, okay, thank you for saying that, no laughing matter, because if Scoot was showing some stuff, I'd feel much more confident about being like, man, as a tanking team, like the Blazers are seeing all of the stuff you want to see. But Scoot still doesn't look good. And I do think that limits them. We'll just throw them in the fine tier. Who else are we throwing in the fine tier? The Pacers? Do we want to put them in the fine tier? I actually think their vibes are worse. And you know what? I'm putting the Pacers in the fucked tier. Yeah, they're 6 and 7. They're wishy-washy. Tyrese Halliburton looks nothing like the MVP level player that we were talking about early into the season last year. They are 15th in pace currently, so that one sort of defining key factor about their team, they have just completely and totally gotten rid of. Like, it's one thing to not play at the breakneck pace that they played at last year in an effort to slow the game down. You know, slow the game down. Let's get a little bit better on defense. We don't need to be the most insane offense you've ever seen. But to be 15th is crazy, huh? I saw Caitlin Cooper, who's a great follow, who talks about she covers the Pacers, made a great point. made a great point that half this team feels like they want to play one way and the other half feels like they want to play another way. You see how they try to take 1-foot threes after getting embarrassed by LaMelo? Yes. It's just been a really weird start to the season for Halliburton, and their vibes just feel bad. The Pistons. You know I love me my Pistons. The Pistons are currently 5th in the Eastern Conference with 7 wins. We talked about this last night on the playback stream, playback.tv/LilyBuys. The Pistons did not win 7 games until February of last year. I think that you got to feel great. I think their vibes are fantastic. I think their vibes are fantastic. Darren has been shit, absolutely. In fact, he got benched last night. But Jaden Ivey's been incredible. Cade Cunningham, the fourth quarter stuff. There's still some turnovers that, make you scratch your head a little bit. But he makes some great things happen defensively. Yeah, Duran's been a very big disappointment. Absolutely a very big disappointment. But Ivey's been incredible. And damn it, they're winning games. Malik Beasley's been incredible for them. JV Bickerstaff's done a great job. They look like they could easily be a playing team this year, which would be huge. I mean, that would be massive. You should talk to the commissioner of Dynamo. What is that? I'll be real, I've not seen any Pistons game. Oh, we've been watching most of the Pistons games. It's because they start at like 6 o'clock every night. They're like the first game, so you tune in. The Kings. 8-6 currently. They've looked good. I mean, they've looked pretty much at the way I've expected them to look. Darren Fox has been incredible. DeMar, they've been playing their guys a little bit too much. DeMar's been dealing with a back problem. Sabonis had a back problem. I think they've been fine. Their depth has been concerning. Keegan Murray hasn't been as good as you were hoping to see, right? But DeMar's been good when he's played. Darren Fox obviously has been incredible. They belong in the fine tier. The Suns one is interesting. They've lost 3 straight. When they're all healthy, they do feel like a contender, but there's some underlying problems here. Like Ryan Dunn's been awesome for them, but Nurkic looks like shit. Are we just putting them into fucked that quickly? Like one bad stretch? Dunn's coming back down to earth a little bit, yes, but he's still been solid. Fine. I think they end up in fine as well. We're gonna have 20 teams in the fine category. I think they're fine. When KD was healthy and playing at that level, he looked like one of the best players in the world, and they looked incredible. The Spurs are interesting to me. They're 6-8. Wemby dropped the 50-piece. Wemby's been hooping lately. Unfortunately, I went to the Mavericks game on Saturday, and Wemby didn't play. Castles looked fantastic. I kind of think they're delusional. I'm not going to lie to you. I kind of agree. I like Sohan looked really good when he's been playing. Wemby, slowest start to the season, but he's picked it up. And when he's hitting threes, he's the best player on the planet. Like, that's like the level he's at. Where, this guy's going to shoot 50% from 3 tonight. All right, we're fucked. Last 3 games for Vic, 34 points on 6 of 12 from 3. 3 blocks. 50 points. 8 of 16 from 3. 3 blocks and a steal. 28 points on 25 shots. 14 rebounds, though. Vassell's been back and has looked good. I mean, Wemby's at 3.7 blocks per game. 22 points per game. 10.5 rebounds per game. Oh, brother. I'm going to be real. And Castles looked incredible as well. I think they go high. Sixers fucked. Need I say more? I mean, we have to really monitor this Sixers situation because it's bad. They're 2-10. Joel Embiid's going to miss tonight. Like, what is the floor for this team exactly? Do they have the worst vibes in the league? I think they do. Like, this is beyond anything I've ever seen. The only thing that's like saving this team at all is Jared McCain has been really good. So you feel really good about that. But I guess if there's any saving grace, at 2-10, my God, this conference is pathetic. At 2-10, they are 2 games out of the 10 seed currently. You heard me correctly. At 2-10, they are 2 games out of the 10 seed. Good Lord, what a piece of shit conference this is. And you're only 3.5 games out of the 6 seed. So just a hot stretch in your top 5 seed. What a piece of shit. All right, the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors are 2-12. They've lost 7 straight games. They're terrible. I mean, I think I'm going to put them in the fine tier, though. Grady Dick's been really good. That's kind of what you wanted to see. They've been kind of competitive in some of these games. RJ's been a little bit rough. But, you know, they're tanking and they're 2-12. Like, this is exactly what they want it to be. The Jazz, 3-10. They're sort of the same exact thing. They've been awful, but they need to be awful. But if I were a cynic, I would say, man, Keontae George, kind of disappointing. Like, Cody Williams looks fucking terrible. Taylor Hendricks is out for the season. Bryce Sensabaugh looks like a nothing player. So do we have, like, any young players? Like, do we have any young players that we feel good about? So that would maybe make me think that they could be a little fucked. But also at the same time, again, this is what they want to be. This is what they want to do. So I'll put them in fine. Obviously, the Warriors go in the slightly delusional tier. They're 10-2. Their vibes are great. Good luck, Mr. McKenna. I'm also going to put the Grizzlies in slightly delusional. Their vibes are also great. They're 8-6 so far this season, but their advanced stats are really, really good. And they've looked like a really good basketball team. The Wizards, 2-10. I mean, they've lost 8 straight games, but their young guys look solid. So they're fine. And the Timberwolves. What do you think about the Timberwolves? Timberwolves are 8-6 currently. 2 straight wins. I think that they're fine as well. So this was our exercise. Basically, you know, everybody feels fine about where they're at, except 10 teams maybe. My biggest takeaway, though, the Sixers, looking at this, I don't know if I can remember a start to the season feel this fucking bad. Like, this bad. Ugh. All right, folks, we have a somewhat busy slate of games tonight. The in-season tournament returns tomorrow. But just looking at the games, we have the Bulls, Pistons tonight, Sixers, Heat. Regardless, one team's coming away feeling even shittier about their position after that game. The Wizards and Knicks, Pacers, Raptors, Rockets, Bucks. Milwaukee's 3.5-point favorites against the Rockets. Interesting. Magic and Suns, Hawks, Kings, Warriors, and Clippers. So some pretty decent games. A lot of these teams are on the second night of back-to-backs. And then tomorrow we have our big Tuesday slate of in-season tournament games. And some of these games look like they might be bangers, honestly. You have Pelicans, Mavericks. Mavericks should win that game by 40 fucking points if they have any ounce of shame. The Cavaliers and Celtics, must-watch TV. 15-0 Cavs on their way to Boston to defend that undefeated record. Woo! Hornets and Nets. That game's probably going to be shockingly fun and entertaining. Nuggets and Grizzlies. That's a good game. Thunder and Spurs. That could be fun. No Chet. So that rivalry between him and Wemby. And Jazz and Lakers. That's tomorrow night's in-season tournament strat. If you guys are listening to this on Spotify, leave a 5-star review. I love you. Have you thought about streaming other games besides the Mavs? Yeah, we've done League Pass nights. It is kind of hard though because I was kind of thinking about maybe doing a League Pass night tonight. What do you guys think? I'm not like totally committed to it, but we'll see. I think League Pass night should start at 8 o'clock. Reason being, like, we can wait and see like what's going on at the end of these games. We shall see. Anyways, that's going to do it for me. I'm about to work on a PJ Washington video. I hope to have it done today. There's a chance that it won't be ready, but we'll see. If it's not today, it'll most certainly be tomorrow. But I really want it to be today. All right, guys. Thank you all so much for coming out. All of the OGs, guys, I love you very much. Could spend your Monday morning anywhere in the world. You decided to spend it here. Do subscribers. I promise you guys will not regret it. Donations. Members. Thank you guys so much. You never have to do that, but it helps me out tremendously. It makes me feel so good. You guys enjoy the rest of your Monday. What's for lunch? I'm not sure yet. Gonna go to HEB and figure it out. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll talk to you all later. Maybe a playback stream tonight, slightly early again on Wednesday. Video dropping either today or tomorrow about PJ Washington, the glue guy. Yeah, I watched the Penguin. All right, love you all very much. Enjoy the rest of your morning and day. Bye.